And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are doing our BTCC preview. Yes, this week is the Donnington rounds 1, 2 and 3 of arguably the best national championship anywhere in the world. That is the British Touring Car Championship. We sadly don't have a Colin Turkington, but although that I will continue to be sad, we have a Gordon Shedden, we have a Nick Hamilton, we have a new reigning defending champion in the guise of Jake Hill. All this and more in the ultimate season preview, the only, at least in my humble opinion, season preview you'll need. So, yes, let's have a look then. Before we get into 2025, let's have a look at the shenanigans of last year and who was the champion. Well, I kind of gave that away already. It was this guy here. This is a shot of him celebrating that very championship, Jake Hill. Yeah, he was the champion, and I tell you what an absolute season we had. What a last race we had. We all thought it's going to be Ingram. No, it's going to be Jake Hill. No, it's going to be Ingram. And no, it's going to be Jake Hill. It was a fantastic final run and a fantastic season as well was 2024. And also the Jack Sears Trophy champion, Mikey Boble. Well done to Mikey Boble in the Evans Halshaw Racing. Different liveries this time. We're going to go through all the drivers. I think all the ones I can think, all the drivers as well. And going on now, moving on to 2025. This is the calendar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So essentially 10 race weekends, 30 rounds, 30 races starting this weekend. Obviously round 1, 2 and 3 at Donnington Park. And that's on the 26th of April to the 27th. Next to the 10th, 11th of May is Brands Hatch for rounds 4, 5, 6. Rounds 7, 8, 9 take place at Snetterton on the 24th to the 25th of May. Then we forward to June, the 7th to 8th of June, which is rounds 10, 11 and 12. Then on to Alton Park for the 21st to the 22nd of June, 13, 14 and 15. They're the rounds there. Then we have our summer break. Yes, Formula 1 not the only one to have a summer break. So does the British Touring Car Championship, and rightly so, because then we come back to Croft for rounds 16, 17 and 18 on the 2nd and 3rd of August. Knockhill, 19th, 20th to 21st. Yes, we are visiting Scotland on what is a fantastic track for touring cars. 16th to the 17th of August. Back then to Donington Park, but it's the GP. It is the Grand Prix circuit on the 30th and 31st of August. Silverstone in September on the 20th to the 21st of September, ending up with rounds 28, 29 and 30 at Brands Hatch, but this time not the Indy circuit, it is the Grand Prix circuit. We absolutely cannot wait. And in relation to the Donnington weekend, we'll get into that in a second, because there is Donnington testing, and here are all those beautiful new liveries. I mean, even the Napa is more Napa than it was before, if that's possible. We're going to talk about one of our favourite new liveries though. As you can see here, I'm circling with the mouse. Sex on wheels, at least very much I think so. So this is obviously the Laser Tools Racing WSR of the reigning defending champion Jake Hill, alongside Team Virtue. For example, we have people like Tom Chilton and Tom Ingram racing them. There is a tease of the One Motorsport sexiest livery going, and there. I mean, this is essentially I think that's the Toyota Corolla Gazoo Racing. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong though. Don't quote me on that. So, as I mentioned, Donnington Park, thanks to One Motorsport with, yes, that wonderful livery. Donnington Park this week, rounds 1 to 3, and we have the itinerary, we have the rundown for Donnington Park before we get into the drivers, etc. So at 9:45, we're going to have free practice 1, 10 past 12, free practice 2 on the Saturday, and then 15:10 or 10 past 3, we have the qualifying, the fantastically new qualifying session, which I think is really exciting. That's at least on the Saturday. But now the Sunday, the big day. 18 laps worth of Donnington. Race 1, 10 to 12. Race 2, 25 to 3 or 14:35. And just before half 5, 17:25 or 25 minutes past 5, we have race 3. All live on ITV, all live on TikTok. And now they're doing it around the world, which is, let's be fair, absolutely sensational. But let's talk about the British Touring Car, the BTCC, in 2025. So 2025 BTCC is going to be go this weekend. I could not be any more excited about it. I mean, I'm massively excited about it. But let's talk Donnington. It's one of the most internationally renowned circuits in the world. But this is Brands Hatch, and we'll be having that hot nap of Donnington in any moment. But let's talk the 2025 Championship. It was officially launched at Donnington Park. We showed you the bits, didn't we? The pictures. And the front row of 4 former champions headlined that photo shot. And they were joined by a quota of cars. In fact, no fewer than 16 drivers, yes, 1/6 from the ultra competitive lineup, have already stood on that top step. Yes, 16 drivers have already stood on that top step of the podium. The class for 2025 is going to be a difficult act to follow, considering we've got the title race came down to a thrilling season finale. The last weekend, the last round, the last race, round number 30, when Jake Hill and Tom Ingram fought, not quite to the death, obviously, but for that championship, with Hill eventually prevailing. And so Jake Hill, he's the latest name etched onto one of the world's oldest motorsport trophies when he realised his lifelong dream. The other previous winners, we've got Ash Sutton for the Napa Racing UK and Tom Ingram. They're going to likely provide the biggest threat to Hill's title defence. But there is a big but. There is, if you will, a spanner in the works, and that's Gordon Shedden in the Toyota Gazoo UK Racing. Now, the chasing pack. Guys that we feel here are more than good enough for that championship. We've got Josh Kirk in One Motorsport, and actually Ash Sutton's team. I've always said Dan Camish. He has fought for the championship. Hill also will have new teammates he hasn't raced with at West Surrey Racing. There's Aidan Moffat and Darrell De Leon. They're switching to the BMW machinery. Also Charles Rainford as well joins the fray. Now, Napa Racing UK is the defending hat-trick of team titles, and it will do so with an unchanged lineup, as we've already mentioned, Ash of the Sutton. But who we haven't mentioned is Tom Chilton and Adam Morgan. We're going to get into all those drivers as well. With Mikey Doble, Nick Hamilton for the Powder Monkey Brewing Co. with Esidoc. Yeah, he's made a return as well. I can't play Hamilton. He's the brother, as you know, of Formula One former world champion GOAT Lewis Hamilton. But let's be fair, Nick Hamilton's stats are infinitely better than Lewis Hamilton. We'll most certainly get into that as well. Also, do not forget, we've got the fully sustainable fuel, and it was announced last year. They've dropped that expensive, ugly hybrid, and these cars are faster than last year. Also, worldwide broadcast. You heard about the TikTok? Yeah, that was brand new. It's going to be live streamed over the globe, though, on the BTCC YouTube channel, obviously with the exception of the UK and North America, because we've got existing live broadcast arrangements. But other than that, you can watch it on YouTube around the world. There's a reason this is going to be such an exciting year. I can't wait. I absolutely cannot. I can't wait. I cannot wait. So, what I would very much, though, like to do now is getting into those drivers for that are going to compete in the 2025 British Touring Car Championship. And there we go. As you can see me here, hopefully you'll be able to now magically see Jake Hill behind me. It is going very well. It is going very well indeed. And you should now hopefully magically have a different music as well. It's all going, it's going too well, isn't it? It's absolutely going too well. So here we go. Then, as you can see, Jake Hill behind me. He has 260 races. Well, not 260 race wins. 20 wins, 59 podiums, 14 fastest laps, 3 poles. His current position, obviously, he won last year. He's number 1 from last year. Now, the issue with Jake Hill is, I think he's going in as one of the favourites. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I'm going to just sort out the green screen there. There's absolutely no doubt that Jake Hill is going in to this season as one of the favourites. But, and here's the big but, is unlike last year, he doesn't have a Colin Turkington with him. He doesn't have experienced drivers with him to help him win that crown, unlike someone, for example, like Ash Sutton. So I think he's even more so going to have to do it on his own, where Colin kind of helped him towards the end. It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a very hard title challenge. Can he do it? Absolutely he can. Obviously he's going to be relying on how good that BMW is. I've been talking about BMW, Darrell De Leon. Now, we've always said, I've always wanted more from this guy, and we've been moderately disappointed. Let's be honest. He's done 45 races. He finished 18th. And place of birth, obviously, Ireland. As I said, he started karting in 2008. And he's in the BMW. So he's got no... Dowell does not have any excuses now. He has to win, doesn't he? Or not has to win, but he has to do good. He's in the BMW. I mean, Adam Morgan, I think, really struggled. I think we should be expecting big things from him at absolute minimum. So I'm going to have my fingers crossed. But I think come like the second or third weekend, the third or fourth maybe weekend, he should be well versed in that team with, I think, top 10 finishes, absolutely minimum from him. So Tom Chilton, Team Virtue, former Bristol Street Motors, they'll be racing in the Hyundai i30N, unlike obviously the BMWs of West Surrey Racing. Tom Chilton, he's always been the bridesmaid when it comes to his friend Tom Ingram, and I don't expect this to change, although I think race wins, absolutely. Where we go from there, though, I'm not too sure. Can he mount a championship challenge? I just think Tom Ingram is sadly just a bit too good. So next up, the man with one of the best last names in motorsport racing, Steve Jelly, as in Stephen Jelly. I remember bumping him. I saw him. I don't think he didn't see me, obviously, in the paddock. I think in Brands Hatch last year. He wasn't obviously sadly in the BTCC. He was racing, doing other forms of racing, but he's back, and he's back with One Motorsport in the Honda Civic Type R. Yes, it is back. He's got 262 races, 4 wins, 14 podiums, 2 fastest lap, 1 pole. He ended up, I think, it was his current position, 12th. I'm not too sure. Was that like his best position he raced in? Maybe. But that's Stephen Jelly. His teammate's going to be Josh Cook. I think Jelly may well win with the Hondas. There's going to be a couple of races specifically. I remember Thruxton being a really, really strong race for the Honda boys. So Ronan Pearson, Toyota Gazoo Racing. Now the Toyota it's capable. It is capable, the Toyota Corolla, of winning. It absolutely is. The Toyota is definitely capable of winning. So Ronan, obviously 51 races, 1 win, 1 podium, 2 fastest laps, 16th current position. I think that was the last year's position, but that's by the by now because we're into a new year. Can he win? Absolutely, he can. The odd race he's won before. It's going to be interesting to see how good that Toyota was. I mean, Rob Huff did fairly decent, along with a couple of his teammates last year. Will it mount a championship challenge? Well, therein lies the big question mark, because you've got the big three. You got West Side Racing, Napa, and Team Virtue seemingly dominating the championship headlines. I don't see no reason for that to change. But the big change this year is no hybrid and how the teams are going to evolve around that. Arguably, the richest teams, the better off teams, are going to be more comfortable, but you never know. They may have got it horribly wrong. So talking about WSR, Aidan Moffat, he started off last year in Donnington wonderfully, and I mean, sadly, it just started to go downhill from there, didn't it? I really feel for Aidan Moffat. So 330 races, 5 wins, which is good, 16 podiums, 2 fastest laps, 1 pole, and a current position of 13th. Last year, and driving, I think he'll do good. It'll be interesting to see how Dow DeLeon does against him, and he'll be a really, really good, obviously Jake Hill as well, but he'll be a really, really good barometer there. So next up, we've got Dexter Patterson he's going to be racing the Cupra Leon, like a few of our other people. 60 races, obviously no wins, sadly no podiums, no fastest lap, no poles, 2022. But I think with the car they've got, they can spring a surprise, given a really good setup, nailing that qualifying. But I think anyone with the Cupra Leon is potentially going to be up against it. When I say up against it, getting into the top 10 on a regular basis. But I love to be proven wrong. Chris Smiley now for Restart Racing, he will be again in the Cupra Leon. He has won a race. He's quite experienced as well, with 192 races, 6 podiums. He has a fastest lap. Sadly, no poles, but 17th was his current position. And just like his teammate, I think they might struggle to consistently get in that top 10 in the points there. So Dan Camis, this is the guy that I think is a danger. I said last year he's a potential danger to Ash Stutton, and I think this year he will as well. He has been a championship contender, albeit now a few years ago. He can do it. 177 races. He's had 13 wins in that. 51 podiums, 10 fastest laps, 6 poles and 5 pole positions. He can do it. We all know he can do it. I think he is a championship contender again, just like Jake Hill. Maybe not as strong as Jake Hill, But just like Jake Hill, and I also think Ash Sutton and Tom Ingram are your main championship contenders. But he's kind of like on the bar below, wanting to jump up, I think, to the next echelon, which I've no doubt he will. Now, Nick Hamilton, the biggest inspiration on the BTCC grid is Mr. Hamilton. And boy, oh boy, am I happy with Mr. Hamilton? I mean, this guy is an apps. He's just absolutely amazing. He is a massive inspiration. And I think maybe he doesn't score points this year, but as we know in Donnington, we know he can score points. We absolutely do. There's absolutely no doubt that this guy, Nick Hamilton, can score points. If you remember at Donnington, he played them all, didn't he? By being on the right side at the right time and was up there in the points. Is he disadvantaged compared to somebody? Yeah. I mean, ultimately, once again, he is in a Cupra Leon. He's got 132 races, so he's quite experienced. Obviously, 0 to the podiums, wins, and fastest laps and poles. But he has scored points, and I can't wait. I predict he's definitely going to score points this season. And yeah, this guy, massive inspiration. When you look at what he has to overcome to even get a lap round and be pretty competitive and be pretty respectful most of the time as well, it's absolutely amazing. This guy, I just want to meet him and shake his hand. He's You can't really moan, can you, when someone like that is getting points in the BTCC. Next up, Dan Rowbottom, again for Napa Racing, 150 races, 2 wins, 12 podiums, 4 fastest laps, 3 poles, 11, currently 11th. Again, he's obviously he's got very, very challenging teammates, doesn't he? So it's going to be quite difficult. It's going to be quite difficult for him to... Really, he's got a lot of people to beat. Can he? Absolutely. As you can see, he's got his 2 race wins. He's got his 3 pole positions. He's got his 12 podiums. He can. It's going to be interesting. And I see this as a big season for him. Hopefully I really want him to step up. Now, in terms of Adam Morgan, he's now with Team Virtue. So alongside with the Hyundai, for example, unlike the Ford Focus of Napa, he's with the Hyundai. He's with the Hyundai team. I mean, Adam now is really, really experienced. I remember seeing him winning not one of his first, but one of his first races in the old A-Class at Brands Hatch in round number 3. I mean, it was at the time, quite a few years back. And now 381 races, 11 wins, 42 podiums, 13 fastest laps with 1 pole position. Currently 8th. And Adam Morgan, Team Virtue, he was disappointing. He was disappointing in the 2024 season, I think, for the BMW team. A car that could win, a proven win when you look at Colin Turkington and Jake Hill. Hopefully this car will suit him a lot better because he can win races. We know he can win races, and no doubt he absolutely will. So next up, we've got Aaron Taylor-Smith in the Toyota Gazoo Racing. This guy, out of his 297 races, as you can see, he's won 4 of them, 22 podiums, 5 fastest laps, can't quite see it, and 1 pole position. Once again, the Toyota seem to be quite good at some tracks, maybe not so good at others. They seem to be a lot more inconsistent than the big 3 teams. So we're going to have to see. But they do have Gordon Shedden with all of that experience, don't they? And speaking of Flash, yes, 407 races. That is very experienced. 52 wins. This guy knows how to win. This guy knows how to win championships. 138 podiums, 56 fastest laps, and 12 pole positions. He makes his return. 52 victories to his name. 3 years away, though, did he say? 3 years away. And Gordon Shedden returns to a series that he is a 3 times champion of, 19 years after his full-time debut. Taking 4 wins in his only season driving the Honda Integra Type R in the opening season with Team Halfords, Flash was immediately on everybody's radar when he first finished. He is a multiple world, as he said, he is a multiple world champion. So I'm hoping he can win races again and give all that experience to the Toyota Gazoo Racing, which I'm not saying they lacked last year, but still. Now we have the man with one of the best beards in touring car. It is Josh Cook. So, can Josh Cook get it done? He was a championship contender last year. I want him to be one. I want these Hondas to do so well. It reminds me, obviously, of the old team dynamics They're still not back. Are they ever going to come back? It's a massive shame, isn't it? But Josh Cook, come on, Josh. Surely you can do it. I mean, you got the P1 logo, the P1 branding on, you know, if anyone wants to see there. Is it a sign? Is it a sign? I want Josh Cook. I'm going to put him as, he's the one I want to win the most. Yeah. Can he? I'm not sure. It's all we're going to really see. I think the first couple of races, Donnington and Brands, two very different tracks. We'll see how good that Honda is. It's one, you know, the Hondas have won obviously Donington. They've won everywhere before though, so it's going to be interesting. But I want Honda is back in the BTCC. I want them to do really well. So Sam Osborne, another guy. He's got the one podium over his 176 races. And just like any teammate of both Tom Chilton and Tom Ingram, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for him to win. And here we go. Here's the other championship. With like his faces. The faces he makes always make me laugh. So 327 races, 33 race wins, 94 podiums, 38 fastest laps, 10 poles, and his current position is number 2. Can Tom Chilton win the BTC? Win the championship? Absolutely, he can, and he's got experienced team. I would put him favourite alongside with Ash Sutton as well, with Jake Hill kind of just a cigarette paper underneath him, not because of his ability, because unlike Tom Chilton and unlike Ash Sutton, his teammates, there's a question mark around his teammates and how much input they can have and how much experience they've got to help them, to, you know, people like Tom win, people like Tom and Ash win that championship. So that's what's going to be really interesting for WSR. So Mikey Doble, power, you know, motorsports, well, Motor Parts Direct with PowerMax racing in the Vauxhall Astra. Vauxhall, obviously, you know, a previous Stallor, you know, big exclamation mark previously for the toy. Can they make a comeback? I don't know. Kind of like better than the Cupra Leons, I think, but up, you know, maybe slightly behind the Toyotas, I think, this year. That's just me guessing. We've got 2 Mikey Dobles. Which one's the real one? Now, Maxwell, one of the most exciting people coming in, you know, as well as Nick Hamilton and Gordon Shedden, coming into the sport after a very successful season with his minis in a Cupra Leon. I mean, this guy was born the same year Hamilton nearly won his first title, debuted in Formula 1. How old do you feel now? I feel really old. So, obviously, 000 across the board in the Cupra Leon, which is okay. I think that he potentially will be he could be the team leader. He could be the fastest guy in his team. And I think if he is, another team at the end of the year may well snatch him up. So we're going to have to see. But I'm really, really excited for Max Hall and to see what he can do. Don't disappoint me, Max. Please. I think he's going to be like the next big thing. Charles Rainford, again for West Surrey Racing, a rookie coming in. Now, I don't know too much about him, sadly. But it says here, starting his racing in historics, took a different path to professional driving. The very next year, you would see BTCC's new 99 take the title, the Race A Pro-Am category. Okay, yeah. So, it's, for me, kind of like a big unknown. And it's going to be kind of like Darryl Deleon. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do in the BMW. Here we go. Another guy who is, as I take a second, who is one of the favourites to win the BTCC Championship, Ashley Sutton. If you're 265 races, 42 wins, 96 podiums, 47 fastest laps, 13 poles, 3. He ended up finishing 3rd. And one of the best races. This guy never gives up. Even if he starts at the back on his day, he can still be a danger to the front runner. He's absolutely amazing. One of the fastest, I think, drivers out there. One of the best drivers when it comes to, I think, to wheel-to-wheel racing. Hard, but very fair. 99.9% of the time. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Ash Sutton can do. I think he's going to be plotting his revenge after you know, finishing behind Tom Ingram and Jake Hill. Dan Lloyd with Restart Racing in the Hyundai. Yeah, I think the Hyundai is a solid car, as we've seen it with the hands of Tom Ingram. So, yeah, he's already won 4 races, 135 races in total, 8 podiums, 3 fastest laps. He finished 13th last year. Once again, I expect him fighting for wins, if not the championship. And last but not least, James Dooley in the Toyota Racing Gazoo, another rookie, born in 1999. It's not quite as young as Maxwell. He used to race in the Junior Saloon Car Championship in 2014, winning 8 out of 14 races. So this guy knows how to win. Once again, he's a kind of like an unknown, as all the rookies are. You could be an amazing rookie, as we see in Formula 1, but plot yourself into a touring car, an F1 car, etc., the top echelons of your sport, and it can be very different. So fingers crossed. I'm really looking forward to seeing what all the rookies are going to be doing. But in terms of all the rookies, I think Maxwell is my pick already for Rookie of the Year. The one to watch for the year, in my humble opinion. I guess, yeah, we're gonna most certainly have to see about that one, though, aren't we? So moving on then, moving on to Donnington. Okay, so let's have a lap around Donnington Park, shall we? I'm just gonna. Here we go. Then, as we are now coming up to that, essentially to the final chicane, you really, really want and really, really need an absolute powerhouse coming out of the chicane. I think God odds it is down the Wheatcroft straight into that first corner. Now, the first corner is going to be an overtaking corner. It's one of the best places to overtake. It is a bit risky, but you can do it. You can have 2, sometimes even 3 cars side by side there. Down then to Hollywood. Yes. Let's be fair, that's a much better place to go than the real Hollywood. But then into the Craner curves. I mean, this is really, really fast stuff. And then what is it? I think it's the old hairpin here. And then absolute full bananas around these turns, this couple of turns which are flat out into McLean's. Is it McLean? Yeah, I've got that right, haven't I? I've seen overtaking here, and I've also seen overtaking into Coppice. Side by side cars, sometimes the overtaking ends here. Now, coming out of Coppice, it is very, very important. Why? Because we're now down Starkey Straight. Okay? Full bananas. And then into, I think it's either the Estes or Goddard, this chicane here. Once again, another overtaking place. You can overtake here in Donnington. It is an absolutely wonderful circuit as we then go past the start-finish straight to do it all again. Yeah, to do it all again. That's Donnington Park behind us. There's the map, as you can see behind us, and it was Donnington. Do you prefer Brands Hatch or Donnington to start the BTCC with me? I've always been a Brands guy. It was at one point my closest circuit, but I like the fact they've changed it to Donnington in a way. It makes it. I find it exciting. I find it fairly exciting. Now let me just close the screen capture there, and we can enjoy the fallout round as we talk about Donnington. As we know, it is one of the most renowned circuits in the world. It continues to host major, both national and international events. The circuit's premier circuit. It used to be the home of the MotoGP. Sadly, for Donnington fans, that's now gone to Silverstone. But we've got other events other than the BTCC. We've got British Truck Racing, the Donnington Historic Festival, as well as the host of the Download Rock Festival. Yeah, I knew about Download. I knew it was in Donnington. Silly me, I should have known it was actually in Donnington. But it's superbly located between Derby, Nottingham and Leicester. Quite near an airport as well. It's the oldest UK motorsport circuit still in operation. Yeah, old. Officially old. What year did it take place? Well, the racing first took place all the way in 1931 using what was narrow roads, and they were accessed the Donnington Hall estate. In 1933, the track was made permanent and welcomed pre-war Grand Prix racing, including the Auto Union Silver Arrows. Now, World War II, sadly, the circuit was requisitioned by the Ministry of Defence as a military vehicle depot, which you can completely understand. And quickly, Donnington, though, became afterwards one of the Europe's premier venues. In 1985, it brought the Melbourne Loop extension, the first Grand Prix motorcycle race in 1980, I think after 1987. For eventually becoming MotoGP, Donnington hosted the event until 2009. So a long time then. 1988, we had the world's first ever superbike race. But you don't want that. We're talking about four-wheels now, because forward all the way to 1993, one of Ayrton Senna's most talked about victories in the wet, one of the most talked about first laps for Ayrton Senna. That happened at the 1993 Donnington Grand Prix. Sadly though, in 2010 the circuit fell into disrepair after what was a failed bid, and I don't know why they did it for the British Grand Prix. I understand why you want the British Grand Prix there, but that you kind of like when Brands Hatch wanted it, you're going to ruin everything else that the circuit has. You know, the Craner curves, McLean and everything. Everything's going to be changed wider, more runoff, etc. So, in a selfish way, because I love Donington for a touring car place, I'm glad that was the case. And the circuit, though, it was saved in 2000 after 2010. Kevin Wheatcroft, the son of Tom, rescued the circuit and it was rebuilt again to a motorsport venue. The circuit was acquired by MSV Motorsport Vision. That's Mr. Palmer. Is in relation to that, and the future of the circuit is assured, and its reputation, as we know, grows by the day, which is not too bad at all. But there we go. That's Donington. So here we go. I'm going to leave you then with a free practice 1, 2 and qualifying. We got race 1, 2 and 3 as well. I absolutely cannot wait. If you made it to the end, give us a subscribe, please. That would be lovely. If you are already subscribed, hit the like button. You're just watching it and making it to the end of this now 31 plus minute video is more than enough for us. So thank you very much, and stay safe, and we'll speak to you soon.